second video, and today I'm going to show you how to make a pair of cut chain earrings or crystal chain. Some people call it rhinestone chain, but they're really easy and they're really pretty. Before we get started though, I want to say thank you to my beautiful friend Wendy for putting me on and sending over some lovely people to watch my first tutorial. And thank you to everybody who watched and subscribed and all the great comments. It made me feel a lot better about doing this. So you are appreciated. Thank you. And let's get started on our earrings. Alright, so what we're going to need to make these earrings is cut chain. If you don't know what I mean when I say cut chain, this is cut chain. This chain that has the little stones in it. It's like a little accordion. This one is silver chain with clear crystals. Okay, and this is 1 millimeter. You can use a different size if you'd like. I would not go any larger than a 4 millimeter. I mean, you can if you like it. I just prefer the smaller ones for these earrings. But whatever your taste is, I mean, you do you. You're going to need a ruler, probably, depends. These are tiny little 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch mirror tiles. You can buy a little bag of these at probably any craft store. I think I got these at Joann's. For next to nothing. Also, the cut chain is where I got, or I'm sorry, Joann's is where I got this cut chain at. It was Hildy, yep, Hildy and Joe metal chain, sorry, from Joann's. But typically you can get it, how they sell, some places sell like trim by the roll, or like in the fabric section they have this stuff on a roll, and you can just get however much you want cut off and just purchase that. You're going to need your earring posts, of course. Going to need something to cut this chain with once we've measured it out how big we want our earrings. You're going to need a pair of tweezers. Most likely you might need 2 pairs of tweezers. Depends on if you're as clumsy as I am or not. I'm going to actually use my little wax stick. Then you're going to need your E6000 and your handy dandy toothpick. And that should be it for now. So gather your supplies. I'll be right back. Okay, to get this started, I'm going to take my cut chain. I'm going to put it over here beside my little tile. And then I'm just going to take something, anything, doesn't matter what. And I'm going to push some of these together to where they're touching. And then I'm going to push my tile up beside it to see how many it's going to take me to get all the way across the tile, or to cover the edge of the tile. I'm not sure if you can really tell, but I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, you may have a different number depending on if your chain is larger or if your tile is larger. My personal number is 6. So I know that if I have 6 going this way, I'm going to need 6 going down this way, which means I'm going to have 6 rows of chain all together on each tile. Times 2 earrings is 12 rows of chain. Okay. Now you need to decide how long you want your earrings. That's going to be how we're going to figure out how long each row of chain needs to be. Now, I'm going to probably want mine to be about 2 inches. So what I'm going to do is, since you're here, is take my ruler and just measure out 2 inches. Okay. Now, since the first 6 on my tile are going to be squished together, I'm going to squish them back together again. And then move my ruler down back to the 2-inch spot. Now, if you weren't here, since I'm making these for myself, I would just stick this ruler here and say, oh, that's close enough. That's what we'll use. But since you are, we'll do it the right way. So I see that my 2 inches is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18. Okay, so 18 is going to be my magic number. This is how long my earrings are going to be. The reason I was saying about not measuring is because when you're making it for yourself, it doesn't have to be exact, it doesn't have to be perfect. But you do want to count your first row. Now, when I make my earrings, I want the chains to slant. Like, the first one will be longer, the next one will be a little shorter, a little shorter, a little shorter, a little shorter. Okay? So, that's why it's important to count your longest row to see how many you're going to have. Now, you take your cutters and you cut. I'm not cutting because I cheated and I already have my row cut. Okay? Just trying to be honest with you. I got ahead of myself when I was getting my stuff ready to go. So, this is going to be my first row, and I know that I need 6 rows. Now, since I want them each row to be shorter, I'm going to count. I'm going to take 2 off. So my next row will be 16 as opposed to 18. Okay, I'm going to cut my 16. And since you're going to need 2 16s, one for each earring, I would just take this one, slide it up against here, bada boom, bada bing. There's 16 more for your second earring. Cut it off, set it to the side, okay? Now, my third row is going to be 14. Each row will be 2 little crystals shorter than the other. Okay, so that I get that diagonal staircase look. Okay, so 18, 16, 14. Okay, so my next row will be 12. These I have not cut yet. So I'm just going to count out. Well, actually, I'm just going to take my row 14, put it beside the chain to where it's even. Take 2 off, cut. This one I am actually cutting. Okay. So I need the same amount for the other earring. I'm going to put it right up beside it. See where they meet up? Another row of 12. You can always count it just to double check if you want. It's completely up to you. Okay. Now, my next row will be 10. So I'm going to put the 12 up next to it. And take 2 off of it. And cut. Okay. Going to need another 10 for the second earring. So I'm just going to scoot this right up next to it again. 10. Snip. Okay, and then my last row, my 6th row, I'm going to need 8. So I'm scooting my 10 up next to it, taking 2 off, and there's my 8 for my last row. And I'm going to cut one more 8 for my second earring. And you don't have to use 2. I mean, if you want to make it a bigger step, then by all means do. If you want your earrings to be straight across, that's fine. Make all of them 18 or 16 or however long you want them, you know, or you could have your longest piece in the middle and then they get shorter as they go out, you know, so it comes into a V. I mean, use your imagination. Do whatever you want. This is how I prefer to do this particular pair. So cut my last one here. Okay. See if I can get this lined up and maybe you can kind of get an idea what I'm talking about here. Of how it's going to look on the earring. Or I mean on the base, I'm sorry. Wish I could pick it up and show you. Maybe I can do this. Okay, that's what it's going to look like once it's on the base and finished. For us to get started making these, you're going to need one of your mirror tiles or whatever you're using for your base, and the chain that we've cut for one pair of earrings. This is where 2 pairs of tweezers is probably going to come in handy. I'm going to use tweezers and my wax stick, and We're going to squeeze out a little bit of glue, a little fresh glue, stick your toothpick in it, pull the bead out, twist back and forth to break that off. Okay, and then I'm just going to put this down on my little tile and spread it across half of the tile from one side to the other. I want it thick enough to where my chain will sink down into it, but not ooze out the side. So I'm going to take my longest piece first, and I'm going to pick up one end, and then I'm going to count, because my number's 6, you'll count to whatever your number is. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to grab that with my tweezers and scoot this over here, and then I'm just going to pick this up and set the first one down in the corner, and I'm just going to try to push these other ones up against each other. Okay, you just want to make sure you get them in the glue, and then you can adjust them if you need to. It's not going to be perfect at first, and it's probably not going to be perfect until we get them all on there and we are able to adjust them all together. But you just want to take your finger and push them down into the glue. Just make sure that they're all on the tile. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you do want to try to kind of make sure you've got this first row as close to the edge as possible, just so that all your rows fit on there. Okay, mine is not completely over, but it's close, and that's okay because, like I said, once they're actually all on there, then we will adjust them all together. So since I still have glue on there, I'm going to take my next longest strand. Okay, and I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to take I'm going to pick up one end and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pick up that 6th one, and I'm just going to place this first one on here right beside the other row. And then I'm just going to try to push these together as I'm laying them on there. I'm going to take my toothpick and adjust them. I'm going to take my finger and just press them down into that glue. Scooting this 6th one up because it kind of wants to pop off of there. Okay. And that's row 2. Again, like I said, it's not going to be perfect right this second. We will get to that. I'm going to take my next longest row, pick up the end, count to the 6th one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pick it up. I'm going to put my end down right beside that row that I just laid down, and then push these together as I'm lying them down on the tile. Pushing them down in the glue. Pushing this bottom one up because the bottom ones want to be a little pain. That's alright. I'll show them who's boss. Okay. It's row 3. Now I am going to, if you're comfortable handling these, I'm just going to lay this kind of on its side like this. And I'm going to push these down towards the table so that the table stops them on the edge of the tile. Okay. You don't have to do that. It just kind of makes it easier. Okay, and then, so now I'm out of glue. Alright, so I'm going to Do the same thing with my glue. Push it out a little, grab it, bead, twist, 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 break it off, and then I'm just spreading it again on the rest of this tile. Okay, covered the rest of the tile with the glue. Next longest piece. Grabbing my end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to set it down right beside the one we just did. And I'm pushing them together as I'm laying them down. I'm pushing it down there. And push it over towards me a little, again, to get it over to this edge. Okay, and then I'm going to take my next row. Going to lay this one down. Pushing them together as I am setting them down on the tile into the glue. Okay. And then I'm going to do my last row. Okay, now that we have all the rows on, we're just going to pick it up and kind of, so I'm going to put my fingers on these two edges, and I'm just going to push these together, and I'm going to push down, pushing these together, pushing down onto the tile at the same time, and then I'm going to turn it to this top part. See how they're not lined up? And I'm just going to push those down. And just kind of work with it, you know, to where, until you get it to where you think it's good to go. Now I have two of my little bottom ones are kind of falling off. Right here, this side. So what I'm going to do is just grab a teeny tiny bit of glue, and I'm just going to add a little glue in between there, in between the two little stones there, and I'm going to push it back up on there. And I'm just using the end of this little toothpick to push them back up on there. And make them all even. This glue is workable once you have your chain on here. You can move these around for a little bit without messing it up. Okay, there we go. There's the first one. And now I'm going to do the other one. I'm going to grab my chain that I already have cut for the second one. Just going to pull that over here. Get my other towel. Toothpick. Again, I'm going to cover half of the tile with glue. I'm going to start with my longest one. Pick up one end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put this one down in there. And then push them together as I'm laying them down. Okay, push, push, push. All right. One, 2, 3, 4, 6. So while that second one that we just finished up is, we're going to let it sit for a few minutes. We're going to go back to this first one and we're going to put the back on it. And again, the drying time for this E6000 could be a couple of hours, but the setting time is up to 24 hours. You can make these at night and probably wear them the next morning, but they recommend you let it sit for 24 hours for superior hold. Okay, so we're just gonna squeeze some glue out. We're gonna get a little more than we've been getting. Okay, so we want to cover this whole surface of this post. Okay, and we do want this to ooze out of the sides a little so that it kind of comes up around it and seals it really good. I'm just going to stick mine in the middle. Depending on how big your tile is, you may want to put it up at the top or in the middle, whatever you want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and set that on there, and then I'm just going to push it down. And watch that glue come out from the sides, and that's it. Now when these are dry, there won't be big gooey glue up around it. It's self-leveling and it kind of suctions back up in there. I mean, you'll probably see a ring around it, but it won't be puffed up. You won't be able to feel it. So we're just going to scoot this guy over here out of the way, and we're going to do our other one. Same way. I'm just going to drop it on there, right in the middle. Push it down, let it come out at all the sides. And voila, that's it. I'm going to move it out of the way. And after these have dried for a little bit, we'll come back and check them out, all right? Hey guys, so it's the next day and our earrings have had plenty of drying time. So I wanted to show them to you. Aren't they pretty? Just gonna stick these bad boys on. These are versatile. They could be worn with jeans and some really cute sandals, or you know, and a cute top, or they could, I would say, could be probably worn to something formal or fancy. Yeah, there they are. A sparkling, dangling masterpiece, if I do say so myself. Yep, there it is. Gorgeous. Hope you like them. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have, again, thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. Yep. And then I'll come up with something new again here soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.